Hey there, happy Halloween and welcome back to the workshop. I'm out here today because I'm going to be painting on pumpkins. I grabbed a couple of pumpkins from the craft store the other day. These are obviously fake pumpkins, and I wanted to use fake pumpkins rather than real ones so that I'll have these decorations for years. Real ones obviously will rot over time, but you could do this on a real pumpkin as well. I've never done this before, so you and I will learn about how this works together. I've got a couple of ideas of what I want to do on them, and I have 1, 2, 3 different pumpkins that I can paint on. I got 3 different colors and 2 different sizes. So let's get in this together and see how this goes. So for most of the pumpkins, I'm going to work with the color that they started off as, so that way I don't have to put a whole bunch of paint on there and wait for it to dry, etc. But I think this guy is going to need a coat of paint because I am thinking about making him into Frankenstein, and an orange Frankenstein just doesn't really work. So first things first, gonna cut this little tag off and then mix up a nice green and then paint him from head to toe. I've got a bunch of craft paint that I've had around for years and don't really use too much, so I'm just going to try and mix something up that looks like a good Frankenstein green. I know this green isn't going to be it, so I'm going to start by putting a little bit more of this on my pan here, and then I'm going to try adding a little bit of red in order to just kind of desaturate that a little bit, and we'll see where that leaves us. And then maybe I will end up having to add a little more yellow or blue or something to bring that to the color that I want it to be. So I think if I add some yellow, I can bring that back into a green color. So that seems like a pretty good Frankenstein green. So let me grab my pumpkin and to zoom you out so you can actually see what I'm doing. And all I'm doing is just spreading a nice coat of this paint on here. I'm currently not painting the bottom, so I can just leave it to sit and dry without getting paint all over everything. And then I'll come back later and paint the bottom. It looks like I'm going to need a couple of coats of this. So let's just keep going here. So while the green one dries, I'm going to work on one of the other ones. I've got this little white guy here. First, I'm going to take this little sticker off the bottom, little holographic sticker, kind of pretty. And that's all the prep work that this guy needs. All right, I'm going to start by just kind of looking at the pumpkin and figuring out which face I want to go forward. I ended up accidentally bumping the green pumpkin into him a little bit, so there's a little bit of green paint on here. But I like the larger spots on here for the front, but there were some nice large spots here, so I've got a nice kind of flatter surface. So I think this is going to be my front, and I'll leave the spot where I've got a little bit of green on the back. I did some research last night and picked out, just drew a bunch of different possible pumpkin ideas in here, just a whole bunch of different designs. I'm going to do something like this, just draw on there with pencil first, and then I can try and paint on there. I might end up just using paint markers because that seems like it's going to be the easiest thing to do. Alright, so I'm going to try drawing on this with pencil and see where that gets me. I think, let's see, I'm going to do eyes that kind of go, oh yeah, that'll work really nicely on there. Pumpkin is hard to hold. A little bit too big for my grip. Something like that. I'm not sure if you guys can actually, yeah, you can kind of see lines on there. Just rough guidelines there. And then I'm just going to take a Posca marker and see how that works. Well, I'll tell you what, if you can grip a basketball, that's going to make this way easier. I cannot. And we'll do his little nose here. Pretty simple little nose. And there he is. He's so cute. I'm gonna have to wait for all that to dry and then clean up the pencil marks, but he is done. Awesome. All right, so I've put a second coat of green on my Frankenstein pumpkin, and I finished this little skeleton face guy up, and you can see that I painted his stem all black so that it kind of goes with that whole black and white theme. I think he's adorable. I love him. And then that leaves us with this black guy. So I debated about what I wanted to do on here. I had a couple of different ideas, and I landed on doing kind of a spooky standard jack-o'-lantern design on here. All right, I'm just putting a base coat of yellow on here. I end up having to go over this 3 or 4 times in order to get good coverage, but that's just because I'm using some pretty cheap craft paint. If you use nicer paint, you'll get better coverage. So, but use what you've got. All right, so I kind of blocked out where I'm going to see some of the shadow colors, and now I've got to kind of pick what that shadow color is going to be. I don't know if I want a brown or maybe an orange. I'm going to start with this orange and see where that puts us, because I'm definitely going to have some oranges in there. All right, that looks pretty cool. Now I got to decide whether I actually want to put any of that kind of warmer color in there, or just leave the color there. I kind of like the color just there. I might just do that. Okay, it's about time for me to try something really scary. I've got this looking pretty cool at the moment, but I had this idea of putting some kind of blue highlights, I guess you would call it, on here to kind of show some other features like a brow line and things like that. I have never tried this before. I did, if I can get it to focus, I did try just putting some of the blue on the bottom here, a couple of different blue markers to see what it looks like. And I like this dark one. So I'm going to give this a try, but I have Clorox wipes here right next to me in case I really don't like it. Hopefully I'll be able to wipe it off quickly before it dries and kind of sticks to the pumpkin if I don't like it. So wish me luck. Okay, here goes nothing. I hope this works. Okay. So. That's kind of cool. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Not sold on it. I'm not hating it. It's kind of neat. Alright, I'm going to keep going. Wish me luck. I don't really know what I'm doing here. That looks like a mustache. These aren't really making sense in terms of anatomical features, but I'm liking how it looks. It's kind of, I don't know, magical. Magical little markings on him. There he is. I think he's done. He's interesting. I like the jack-o'-lantern face more than the squiggles, but I don't hate the squiggles. Didn't quite turn out the way I thought it would, but I didn't quite know what I wanted either. So I just took a big risk on this guy and putting the blues and purples on here. Overall, I don't hate it. I think if I had planned it out a little bit better, I think I would have liked it more. But I don't mind him. I definitely like the yellow and the orange. And some of the blues and the purples are cool. But I think I might have gone a little bit too far with it. But what do you think? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Should I have done the blues and purples? Should I have gone further? Got my Frankenstein pumpkin almost done. I just need to draw his face on, so let's go ahead and get right to it. So I'm going to just start with a Posca pen and draw some of the items on here, and then we can go in and paint over if need be. Okay, take 2 of doing Frankenstein's face. I tried it once and I didn't like the way it looked, so I painted over most of it. And I'm starting over. I need to put his scars on his face because I think that one is pretty straightforward. And then after that, I just kind of need to figure out how I'm going to do the details on his face. I had a couple of ideas. The first one was to put a black line all the way across the top here and then basically kind of put staples in. And for the staples, I'd probably just use like this silver marker to draw the staples in. I like that, but I also kind of just like the scar. But let's go ahead and try the line because we can always paint over it if we don't like it. So I'm just going to kind of do a rough line like that. And then we'll just do staples. Okay, I like that. That's pretty cool. I like the staples. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm getting somewhere. All right. Oh, I like that. There we go. Just kind of drawing some black around his eyes to give that feeling of like darkness and shadow around them because Frankenstein's monster often has kind of like darker eyes. I've done a few more details on his face. I'm not sure about this just yet. If I'm going to do it over here, I'm going to need to do the same thing over here, but then I've kind of messed up with that stitches there. But let's see. Let me see. Kind of like it on there, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that and just kind of paint over the stitches. Okay, yeah, that works. We'll do staples in most places. Yeah. Okay. We got them all done. I got 3 pumpkins painted. I'm pretty happy with how all of them turned out. One a little bit less so than the others. I definitely have a favorite. If you have a favorite, please let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below. Anyway, I had a lot of fun painting these guys. I hope you guys had fun watching me paint them, and I highly encourage you to try this at home. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see you next week, and I will leave you with some parting shots of each of the pumpkins. Bye.